If a normal day leaves you completely exhausted, even though nothing dramatic happened, I want you to pause for a moment. Because maybe you are not lazy, maybe you are not weak, maybe you are not failing at adulthood, maybe your nervous system has been quietly processing more than anyone around you can see. For some people, a normal day is just a normal day. They wake up, get dressed, answer messages, go to work, talk to people, hear background noise, make decisions, come home, and move on. But for a highly sensitive person, a normal day can be full of tiny things that stack up inside the body. The sound of traffic before you have fully woken up. The tag inside your shirt that keeps brushing your skin. The shoes that are not painful enough to complain about, but uncomfortable enough to keep pulling your attention back. The person speaking too loudly near you. The unread messages waiting on your phone. The slight change in someone's tone. The tension in a room that no one else seems to notice. The stranger being rude to someone. The news story that stays in your chest long after you close the app. The office lights. The motorcycles passing by. The sirens outside. The feeling that you are supposed to be fine because technically nothing happened. This video is for self-reflection and emotional education only. It is not a diagnosis or a substitute for professional support. But if you have ever reached the end of a normal day and wondered, why am I so tired? This is a gentle place to think about that question. Highly sensitive people often do not get tired only from what they do. They get tired from what they notice. They get tired from what they feel. They get tired from what they absorb. They get tired from the effort of staying regulated in environments that feel too loud, too fast, too tense, or too full. And sometimes the hardest part is that other people cannot see the work happening inside you. They see you sitting quietly. They see you answering a message. They see you walking into a room. They see you going through the day like everyone else. But they do not see the way your mind is scanning. They do not see the way your body reacts to small shifts in the environment. They do not see the emotional calculations you make before speaking. They do not see how much effort it takes to stay calm when a place feels harsh. They do not see the way you carry a tone, a look, or a moment of conflict for hours afterward. So when you say, "I'm overwhelmed," they may not understand. They may think, "But nothing happened." And that sentence can feel lonely because something did happen. Maybe not one big thing, but many small things happened. And for a sensitive mind, small things are not always small. A normal day may begin before you even leave bed. Your mind may already be awake before your body is ready. You may be thinking about what you need to do, who you need to respond to, what might go wrong, whether someone is upset with you, whether you have enough energy to be around people, whether you can make it through the day without feeling flooded. To someone else, this may look like simply waking up, but inside, you may already be carrying the day before it starts. Then the world begins to enter. Sounds, light, textures, notifications, expectations, decisions. A sensitive person may not experience these things as separate. They can arrive all at once, like too many tabs opening in the mind. The kettle is boiling. A message comes in. A car horn sounds outside. Your sleeve feels wrong. Someone asks a question. You remember something you forgot. Your body tightens before you even understand why. None of these things are emergencies, but together they create pressure. And when pressure builds slowly, you may not notice the exact moment you become tired. You only notice later that you are done, completely done. And then comes the guilt. Why am I tired? Why can't I handle this? Why does everyone else seem fine? Why do I need so much quiet? Why do I feel like I want to disappear for a while, even from people I love? If that sounds familiar, I want to say something clearly. Needing quiet does not mean you do not love people. Needing space does not mean you are rejecting anyone. Needing a break from conversation, even with someone close to you, does not mean your relationship is wrong. Sometimes it simply means your system needs to come back to itself. For highly sensitive people, socializing is not only talking, it is reading expressions, noticing pauses, feeling shifts in energy, wondering if your words landed the wrong way, trying to be kind, trying not to take up too much space, trying to respond correctly, trying not to seem distant, trying not to seem too intense, trying not to seem tired. That is a lot of invisible work. Even a pleasant conversation can take energy. Even a loving partner can still be another presence your nervous system is responding to. Even a good day with people can still require recovery afterward. This is why a normal day can feel confusing. You may like your life. You may love the people around you. You may be grateful. And still, you may be tired. Sensitivity does not only respond to bad things. It responds deeply to everything. Beauty can move you. Kindness can stay with you. Music can change your whole mood. A peaceful place can make your body soften. A pet can bring you back to the present moment. A walk outside can feel like someone opened a window inside your chest. And in the same way, harshness can hit you hard. A rude interaction may not feel like a passing moment. It may stay in your body. Seeing someone mistreat an animal, speak cruelly to a worker, dismiss another person, or fill the space with aggression can make you feel tense, alert, and emotionally tired. You may not be directly involved, but your system still reacts. You may think, why am I still thinking about that? Because you did not just observe it, you felt it. Sensitive people often feel the emotional temperature of a place. A room can feel safe. A street can feel tense. A workplace can feel draining. A neighborhood can feel heavy. A home can feel calming. Or it can keep your body on edge. This is why surroundings matter so much. Some environments let you exhale. Others make you vigilant. And vigilance is exhausting. When your body keeps scanning for what might happen next, you are spending energy even when you appear still. This can happen in an office. Maybe it is the bright lights, the constant movement, the background conversations, the meetings, the smell of someone's lunch, the pressure to look busy, the interruptions, the unpredictable noise. Maybe you love your job, but the environment still drains you. Maybe you work from home sometimes, and those days feel easier because your body does not have to filter as much. Maybe when you are in the office, you look for excuses to take a walk, put on headphones, step into a quieter space, or listen to something soothing just to reset. That is not dramatic. That is regulation. It is your system trying to find a little quiet inside a loud day. And then there are physical sensations. The shirt tag, the tight waistband, the shoes that are almost comfortable but not quite, the wind hitting your face, the sudden siren, the motorcycle roaring past, the chair that does not support you, the temperature that is slightly wrong. Many people can ignore these things. A sensitive person may not be able to ignore them in the same way, not because they are choosing to focus on discomfort, but because their attention keeps being pulled there. And attention is energy. Every time your mind has to return to the sound, the texture, the light, the discomfort, the interruption, it spends a little more. By the end of the day, you may not be exhausted from one thing. You may be exhausted from being pulled away from yourself hundreds of tiny times. That is why rest for sensitive people is not always about sleep. Sometimes rest means reducing input, taking off the uncomfortable clothes, turning on white noise, sitting in a dim room, walking outside, petting your dog, letting your body move slowly, being near someone safe without having to explain, having a quiet meal, closing the door, putting your phone away, letting the day stop entering you. Sometimes grounding does not look like a perfect routine. Sometimes it is a small living being that needs you, a puppy that gets you out of bed, a walk that gives you fresh air, a partner who feels steady, a familiar sound, a blanket, a cup of tea, a few minutes where no one needs anything from you. A moment when your body remembers that you are here, now, and the day is not chasing you anymore. If normal days exhaust you, you may need fewer accusations and more understanding. You may not need to ask, what is wrong with me? You may need to ask, what has been asking too much of my system? Was it the noise, the decisions, the social pressure, the emotional atmosphere, the conflict you witnessed, the way someone spoke to you, the effort of pretending you were fine? The shame of needing rest, the small discomforts that kept adding up. When you look at the day this way, your exhaustion starts to make more sense. It is not always laziness. It is not always weakness. It is not always overreacting. Sometimes it is the natural result of carrying more input than your system had room for. And this does not mean you are broken. It means your sensitivity has limits. Like every human system has limits. The difference is that your limits may arrive sooner in environments that others find ordinary. That can be painful, but it can also be useful information. Your tiredness may be telling you something. Not that you are failing, but that you need recovery. Not that you should become less sensitive, but that your life may need more softness, more pauses, more protection, more honest boundaries. You are allowed to build a day that respects your nervous system. You are allowed to choose quieter clothes. You are allowed to leave early. You are allowed to take walks. You are allowed to use headphones. You are allowed to need time alone after being around people. You are allowed to say, "I'm at my limit," even if no one else understands why. You do not have to prove that your overwhelm is reasonable before you are allowed to rest. You do not have to wait until you collapse before you take yourself seriously. A normal day can be exhausting when you are sensitive, because you are not only moving through the world, you are feeling it, you are hearing it, you are reading it, you are absorbing pieces of it. You are responding to things that other people may never notice. And if you have spent years calling yourself lazy, dramatic, difficult, or too much, maybe today can be the beginning of a softer explanation. Maybe you are a person who feels deeply in a world that often moves loudly. Maybe you are someone whose system needs quiet to return to itself. Maybe your exhaustion is not proof that you are weak. Maybe it is proof that you have been carrying more than anyone could see. So tonight, if all you can do is rest, let that be enough. If you need white noise, let it play. If you need to take off the uncomfortable shoes, take them off. If you need to sit beside your pet, or open a window, or step outside for air, do that gently. If you need silence after a normal day, you are not strange for needing it. You are allowed to come back to yourself slowly. You are allowed to make your life softer where you can. And you are allowed to stop explaining your tiredness to people who only count visible effort. Some of the hardest work you do is invisible, but it is still real. And if this felt familiar, you are not alone.